Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Women in Politics. When you think of a strong, powerful, empowered woman in India, you first think of our former Prime Minister, Srimati Indira Gandhi. Till date, she has been the only woman to lead the nation, and she stands apart in that department remarkably well. Today is her 103rd birth anniversary. Born in a family of extraordinary achievers, she could have been completely overshadowed if you come to think of it. Instead, Srimati Gandhi carved her niche for herself in an unapologetic male-dominated area such as politics. Not only becoming a trendsetter herself, but also defining women liberation in the process. Decades have passed since Srimati Gandhi, and our country is yet to see another woman Prime Minister. Which brings us to today's topic. Where do women stand in the political sphere today? What are the challenges faced by them, and what has been their opportunities? Today, as we pay tribute to an exemplary woman icon on her birth anniversary, we discuss and debate upon the stereotype as well as the shattering of the glass ceilings associated with women in politics, with excellent panel of women with us here today. Let me introduce the panelists to you. Soumya Reddy, Member of Legislative Assembly of Karnataka from Jayanagar, with over 13 years of experience spanning in working in grassroots activism, research, training, community, mobilization, human education, animal welfare, environmental protection and policy advocacy, and the list goes on. The next, let me introduce Bhavya Narasimhamurthy, an Ivy League grad alumni of Columbia University, worked in the UN Women, New York, United Nations Population Fund in Egypt, and UNICEF Nepal, and currently in charge of Karnataka Priyadarshini, a Mahila Congress endeavor to engage and empower more young women and understand their aspiration to give them a voice and policy in governance. Let me introduce to you Akai Padmashali, an honorary doctorate from Indian Virtual University for Peace and Education, Indian transgender activist, motivational speaker, and a beautiful singer, honored with Rajyotsava Prashasti, first transgender woman to be invited to be a part of town hall on former President Barack Obama's visit to India. Now let me introduce you Lavanya Balal, AICC spokesperson, National Social Media Coordinator for AICC, worked with the Karnataka Mahila Congress and the National Mahila Congress as Social Media Coordinator, planned and executed multiple ground and online campaigns for Mahila Congress, and also former radio jockey with Radio Mirchi. Meenakshi Ravikrishna, a gold medalist in MBA, a trained civic leader by Bangalore Political Action Committee, co-founder of Bangalore Water Warriors, and a ward committee member of our own Shantala Nagar. Namaste Bhavya, how are you today?
I'm good, how are you?
We are extremely happy to have you here.
Thanks for giving me the opportunity.
Let's start off with your first question.
First about Indira Gandhi and about women in politics.
Yes.
So when Indira Gandhi became the Prime Minister, the male around her, and the topmost positions, they actually called her Gungi Gudiya.
Gungi Gudiya.
So that means a dumb doll.
Right.
They actually didn't even consider, just because she's a woman, they didn't consider that she grew up at the time where India was actually going through the freedom movement, and she learned in Shantiniketan under Rabindranath Tagore,
right.
and she grew up, she's the daughter of Jawaharlal Nehru and grew up with all intellects like Mahatma Gandhi and other freedom fighters and leaders. Still they called her Gungi Gudiya. And I think among all the prime ministers, she turned out to be one of the toughest, taking real hard decisions. I would like to bring in like two scenarios here. First one, you know about the war, Bangladesh war, which she won. She divided Pakistan into two. And now I want to compare her with the male prime minister of today. She didn't use the war to win the election. She didn't use her army, even though she won the war, to win the next election. She lost the election. But
Right.
today, the man uses an airstrike to win an election. You see the difference.
That is the irony of Indian politics today.
And And it's more about, she was confident about her achievements. She wanted people to vote her on her achievements and not like take advantage of the name of army.
See, today we are having this show because our generation today forgets what we did yesterday.
Yeah.
We are such a fast generation that we forget what we did yesterday. Where will our generation remember what are the contributions of Sri Indira Gandhi? That is the reason we are having this show here where we are trying to talk to women who are inspired by Indira Gandhi ji and speaking to us on this topic.
In 1960s, India was not self-sufficient in food grains, in like growing our own food. So we were dependent on America for wheat.
Correct.
Then Indira Gandhi took a very hard decision. Then she gave priority to Green Revolution. And in 4 years, India became self-sufficient. Not just we grew our own food, we also exported. We paid back our loans and we started loaning to deficit countries. Now, now this is Indira Gandhi. And finally, men who called her Gungi Gudiya. And then there was a man, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, in parliament. He actually addressed her as Durga.
Durga Mata.
Now you see her
growth
and the journey in politics.
That's
as
exactly.
a prime minister. Now, how difficult is politics in India for women?
Let it be specific to Bhavya.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yes. Let it be specific to Bhavya.
So, like, my case is just as common as any other woman, Any field for that matter. Women need to prove themselves more than a man needs to prove. No matter how qualified they are. Equally qualified, in some cases more qualified. But they need to keep proving. There is a saying, a man needs to score 100 to score a century, but a woman needs to score 1,000.
Wow. Okay.
And this happens everywhere.
Hi Meenakshi. Nice having you here today.
Hi Nalpa, thanks for having me here. I'm glad that I'm here today.
You've been doing a great work and we've been watching it constantly. Indira Gandhi to today's politics is what we are trying to get out of you. Let me hear your side.
She has given us a good head start. That we have to remember that even today when we say that a woman prime minister, we think only about her.
Yes.
So women prime minister, I can't even believe that we wouldn't have even thought about that a woman can become a prime minister till she proved it to us.
Yes. And she remains the only one to lead a country till today.
Even today. I
Yes.
I aspire, every woman here can aspire that she can also become a prime minister of the country. It's not always a man. And she gave the break for all of us to think about politics. And moreover, if you ask about politics for women, it's a different ball game from men. Men, still, we are all in a patriarchal society. You tell me how many women will come out and say that I want to take up politics as a career. From the time where we had Mrs. Indira Gandhi, we have more women now.
Exactly.
And we have Mrs. Soumya Reddy as the first woman MLA of Bengaluru City, where I am really proud of that. A woman has proved it again.
Yes.
Very happy that we are giving more opportunity, we believe in women, that women can also become and make the change. It's not the face of the man always. As it happens in the corporator with the corporators and all those things, where the man comes into picture, where the women takes a back seat, and I don't think that will continue in the near future, where we have a mind of our own, where we can think, and definitely the struggle for women in politics continues, but we are mentally prepared to address it in a different way.
Yes, that's a good sign. I think we will see more changes in this BBMP election also. We will see more women, actual women becoming corporators, not just their husbands in places of their husbands.
Definitely, yes.
Thank you, Meenakshi. We'll come back to you. So now we here have Lavanya. Welcome to the show. Thank you for coming.
I think it would be incorrect to say if she paved the way for women to enter politics or more women, because she came from an era where we had Sarojini Naidu, we had Kamala Devi Chattopadhyaya. There are a lot of national leaders who fought for her own mother, for that example. They all fought for Indian independence. So we had a lot of very strong women leaders at that point of time. I think nobody, I mean, even her aunt, Vijayalakshmi Pandit, was a leader and she was a diplomat and everything. But nobody rose to the heights of Mrs. Indira Gandhi and became the Prime Minister of the nation. So she, I think, in a way set new benchmark for all the women leaders. It's not that she paved the way for women leaders, but she she set new benchmark for the leaders in
So,
India.
Lavanya, as you were saying, what I'm thinking is, if in that era we had so many women and we had so many leaders, we had so many people, and Indira Gandhi just went one step higher and put a benchmark, what happened today?
Saying from one of our Congress women leaders who's written a book. She's still a leader in the Congress party. In that she says the move that Congress made to bring 50% reservation for women in Panchayat and everywhere. We are the ones who did it.
Yes.
We are also demanding for 33% representation for women now. What she feels is women's reservation made more disservice to women leaders than it helped the women leaders in India.
I completely agree.
Why? Why is
What
that?
this leader had to say.
I wouldn't agree with that, At least this 33 percentage of reservation brought women to the fore. People got used to see women as an elected representative. Otherwise, I don't think even today we would have like this many corporators and women. Although I totally agree, like Nalpad just mentioned, that there are proxy candidates and stuff.
Yes.
But at least people got used to see women behind the podium.
That is true in one part, but see, when we go back to history, as Lavanya said, there were so many women leaders, there were so many women who have achieved, and then out of which one Indira Gandhi came out and became the Prime Minister. But compared to that era to now, why the women have gone behind?
What I'm saying is, you bring a capable person from your family, that is perfectly fine. But if you want to hold on to a seat, so you bring your wife, your sister, your daughter, your niece or somebody and make them, dummy candidates. We have seen a lot of corporators who win the election, but their husband comes for the meeting. That is where we are saying it does more disservice to women. This, it needs to be rethought and, there needs to be some parameters that needs to be put in place.
Yes, I really like the whole idea of this. That is why we are hosting this.
Can I jump in?
Yes.
One point. Of course, Sarojini Naidu, Vijayalakshmi Pandit, and Kamala Nehru, there were a lot of women leaders back then. But this is the whole difference. Even today, we have a huge Mahila Congress. But when it comes to power, when it comes to service, women are always at the forefront. But when it comes to power, there is something called this male-dominated society which doesn't let them get the power.
Okay.
So as I mentioned, it's still we are in a patriarchal society.
Yeah.
So I think the whole approach will change. It's with the next generation, the parenting, everything. It's completely a different.
The whole ideology.
The whole ideology should change from the beginning. We have to restructure, or we can say restart the whole idea of politics and women in politics.
To Akai. Welcome to the show, Akai. You have not spoken a word till now. So let's get to the first question with you. Namaste.
I want to continue with my previous speaker. We live in a patriarchal world. We live in a powerhood world. And who decides power? Who decides patriarchy? I am not gender biased. I want to speak from a very perspective of the gender movement that I come from. Be it a man who is born with your genitalia, be it the woman who is born with, like with your own sex called vaginal, or a person who is born with both intersex identity. It's not a question what power patriarchy that you practice, maybe the way you are brought up.
Right.
India is the largest democracy, having largest population in the world, having so much of culture, class, religion, region, every aspect of it. I think Indira Gandhi has broke the barrier against this entire gender notion.
Right.
Why I say, if you go back the history, HISTORY, history is in the context of a man who practices patriarchy and dominance of the power. Herstory, HERSTORY, is a feminist, is a woman who has been shown that yes, we are here capable, we could do this. I endorse what Indira Gandhi has totally, provided the service for the nation. Indira Gandhi said it's we the people It's we the nation. It's not I the person. I decide for my country. Why I say this, very clear. We are living in an undeclared emergency nation.
Right.
We cannot blame Indira Gandhi for dictating whatever people will use the word terminology. I disagree with the entire notion that people practice. Even if you go back to Jayalalitha becoming chief minister for Tamil Nadu, Mamata Banerjee for West Bengal, with Vasundhara Raje for Rajasthan, I think people have quoted Indira Gandhi as the example.
Yes.
Whatever parties that they can claim. Whatever, I think Indira Gandhi is the best reason. I see a leader with so much of confidence, so much of responsibility, so much of determination for the poor of the poorest, for the weakest of the weakest section of society, for the class minorities, for the caste minorities, for the religious minorities. In India, we are practicing plurality and we cannot practice communalism. I think my endorse to this forum would be that let's not practice gender bias.
Boss, superb. So before we continue, I have my sister who's joining us, Soumya Reddy, the only woman MLA, as Meenakshi just told us.
So first of all, thank you so much for organizing this wonderful event.
Thank you, Soumya.
On this occasion of remembering a great woman, Srimati Indira Gandhi ji, I will speak about her influence on all of us much later.
Yes.
I'm sure everybody has been, and I will as well. Men can't play any role.
Can't play any role. That's it?
I think, so they say in Kannada, Purusha Pradhana Samaja, a patriarchal society. And it's so true. I come from a activist background. Right from childhood, I've worked on different social justice issues, animal rights, women's rights, environmental rights, human rights. And even while growing up...
Don't forget to mention sexual minorities rights.
Yes, of course. The biggest LGBT sexual minority rights as well. And even while growing up, I have a brother. Not a single day was there was any differentiation at home that she's a girl child. So in fact, it was quite the opposite. I mean, we could do anything I want. I could choose any career I want. Why I'm sharing all of this is because where I come from since childhood, including our non-profit sector activism, it's mostly full of
men.
Women.
Women?
Yes.
Okay.
And coming to this field of politics, it was the opposite.
There were no women.
I wouldn't say no women, it's just that it's dominated by men. I still, like you rightly said, I'm the only woman MLA in Bangalore. In the whole state, we have, I think about 10 women MLAs, including all parties. Out of 225, 224 plus 1 nominated. And that's 4% of the population. And we represent about 49-50% of the population. And I think, having said that, I think it goes a long way because it's not just politics. I think any field. Even a person who is a Paurakarmika, a woman who's coming out and working as a teacher, as a lawyer, as an IAS officer, as probably even a waiter over here, without support, as in that includes men in the family. That includes fathers, that includes brothers, that includes husbands, that includes friends. And they are 50% of the population as well. And I think it's not about just women's rights. I think at the end of the day, it's about human rights. We're celebrating, for me, frankly speaking, in the past couple of weeks, everyone is so overjoyed. Oh, Kamala Harris, first Vice President. And in fact, my country has had the first Prime Minister Indira Gandhi.
The Iron Lady.
The Iron Lady years ago. And we've had women chief ministers. We've
had.
I mean, at the panchayat level,
Level.
because of
33.
73rd, 74th,
Fourth Amendment.
we've had 33% reservation. But I will go on and on and on. You know, also because I think having said that, you know, I will talk about BBMP.
Right.
You know, we have 50% over there.
Right.
198 wards as of now. I think 102 are women.
Women. You're right. Yeah.
But let's be honest over here.
We already had that conversation.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah,
But
we did.
you know, it's like, because this is exactly what a lot of us feel.
Feel.
People, you know, we've been working, people who've been working on the ground. I can count women on my fingers who are independently working. I want 50% of Youth Congress to be women. Youth Congress has to identify women, and you need to make that environment. You need to create that space so that women come.
No,
You know,
definitely.
young women
I would like to quote one incident between me and Soumya. We had a protest recently in regard to what happened in UP, and she was there in the protest, and I myself by mistake pushed her. She was very angry with me. She's like, everything you only want. That is when I went back home and sat, and I thought, really, we should make a system where women are more friendly, they can come, they can attend protests, where they are not pushed and pulled around.
I would like to add something. You know, there was a lot of protest for Hathras rape case that happened, and you know, there were only two platforms. Soumya, I don't. Yeah, you were there for one of the protests, and one was organized by you, by Youth Congress, and the other one by your father, Harris sir had organized it. I saw the opportunity. One was at Harris sir's protest where he made all women talk, and he was the only male leader who spoke, and it was another one was organized by IYC by you, where I think 12 women spoke and you were a couple of men who spoke. That's about it. And I think that's the first time I've seen women are being able, you know, allowed to speak and say, hey, this concerns us.
I'm just gonna, you know, summarize everything we just spoke in a statement that she has quoted. She says, I don't ask for a favor for my sex. All I ask my brethren is to take their feet off our necks.
Yes.
So, Bhavya, your second question.
Okay, so this question actually reminds me of one of the conversations I had with a friend recently. So while talking about this reservation thing, a friend of mine, he just asked me, like, what do you think is the right number of women, you know, in parliament? So I said, like, okay, there are 543 seats. I want 477 women and 66 men. He was surprised. He was like, how can you talk something like that? Say something like that. So he was expecting 33% or maximum 50%. So I was like, why not? Like, you were okay with 477 men and 66 women today. And for the past 73 years, you were okay with like majority of men, but you don't want women to be of that number. Like, this is like intrinsic sexism that you're bringing in. You know, if we had the right amount of women, right number of women in parliament, in every assembly, I think our policies would be more gender sensitive. We would have gender budgeting, and because that is more important.
Right.
And we wouldn't be seeing this many, cases of violence against women if we had equal number of women representatives. As Mom just spoke about Kamala Harris, you know, you're talking about the question says about the Fiat and achieving 100 mark. But just think about how we people are thinking today. Kamala Harris has an Indian origin.
Right.
Her mother left India when she was 19. And Kamala Harris was born there, and she becomes the vice president, and we are so happy about it. And I'm proud as well, both as a woman and as an Indian. But what happened to our own Sonia Gandhi? She left her country at a very young age, came here, owned her identity, lost her husband to politics, and still she's considered a foreigner. You really call this a fear? Or do you think this is like those soap operas where, you know, a daughter is preferred over a daughter-in-law? Correct?
No, it is
So we
true.
don't want Sonia Gandhi to be called an Indian, but someone who was not even born here, when her mother went there, but we want to own up that achievement. Sushma Swaraj, of course, I really respect her, but there was one thing I had, like, I was very disappointed. She had actually quoted, if Sonia Gandhi becomes the Prime Minister, she said she'll shave her head and sit like a widow.
Now let's get to Meenakshi. Meenakshi, your second question.
There's been a scope always for women in politics. So it's not because of the vacuum. So I don't agree that there is a vacuum in politics that needs to be filled. And I always have disagreed with the point that there has been a representation that women has to be made by men. In the sense, like, who is the deciding authority here to have 33% of reservation?
Right, I agree with you. As we said earlier, Soumya said, we don't need men. True, we don't need men.
There is no deciding authority. Every person who is equally competent, irrespective of the sex, just remove the sex from the word gender, from the word politics. Look at the competent personality over there. Just remain as a person. She is a competent one. He is a competent one. So don't say that men, women, and whoever is
How do you
competing
define
choose.
he and she there?
There are like kind of feminist policies which needs to be made from the point of view of feminine gender and also LGBT rights and so many other things which needs to be represented equally. So I feel that a lot of scope for women has always been there irrespective of the reservation.
Right.
50 years for American democracy to have a female vice president. It took us very less time for us to have a female
Prime Minister, yes. So yeah, let's get to the next question to Lavanya.
Women have always been capable rulers. I think even in the past, across the globe, if we have seen, there have been a lot of queens who have successfully ruled different kingdoms, be it in India or the British Empire or the European kingdoms.
Kingdom.
We've had great rulers who are women. Yes, we had really brave women from India. I come from a region where Queen Abaka fought the Portuguese. So we have had a lot of women leaders earlier too. Indira Gandhi ji of course showed what women leaders are capable of.
Let's get to my sister again. So this is a very important question, the second one.
I think a few of us actually answered this question as we were actually speaking.
Speaking, yeah.
You know, we have 78 women as of now in the parliament. And like I mentioned earlier, in our own state we have, I think, 11 or 10.
10.
And that's just about 4%. I mean, it's actually hats off to, this happened I think in 1993. Thanks to Shri Rajiv Gandhi, that we actually have reservation at a local level. 73rd and 74th Amendment. You know, we're actually talking about, it's brilliant, you know, what's actually happened, because women were confined to the kitchen, women were confined to homes, and now, you know, it's a chicken and an egg kind of a problem. You know, we were also talking about, I was talking earlier about how, yes, we have more than 50% women, but they're not really, you know, they're kind of like a rubber stamp. But on an optimistic note, I really want to say that at all these levels, including panchayat, including Zilla Panchayat, including municipalities, I think we have had, it is so important for us to have reservation. And it is because of reservation that women across different religion, different caste have had an opportunity to come and sit in places where they've never sat before.
Let's go to the next question, Akai.
Mr. President of Bangalore, Youth Congress.
Yes.
I salute your notion of getting all women together.
Thank you.
I want to see a feminist leader like you across the nation. Yeah. ಇದು ಕಷ್ಟವಾದ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಆದರೂ ಕೂಡ
ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ.
ತುಂಬ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ, ತುಂಬ ಭಾರವಾದ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಒಂದು ಮಹಿಳೆಯಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಜನ್ಮ ಆಗಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಯು ಫೇಸ್ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರಿಮಿನೇಷನ್
right.
ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಯರ್
Caste.
ಕಾಸ್ಟ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಯರ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಯರ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಕಮ್ ಫ್ರಮ್. There is a man who always keep in the context of judging you. I'm not concerned and bothered about who decides your existence. My concern is that society has a problem for various reasons. If you want to justify society, you're not going to fulfill yourself. Got it? In that context, how like Her Excellency the President, Srimati Pratibha Dev Singh Patil, was a nation's face as a president. Srimati Meera Kumar as a speaker. Congress made it. How Padmavati, became
The mayor.
Gangambike became the mayor. The youth and young voice of this entire Bangalore city, which is a global metropolitan, cosmopolitan, whatever that you can use. I think we have beautiful, like leader called Soumya Reddy. Like this, Congress has shown the spaces and ways that yes, we are able and capable. See, hazar things may comes to you. I also don't say that men will not face any sort of political space, like pressure. So many difficulties here because you are a political leader. You are becoming a king or queen or whatever for your state or your nation. You also have multiple pressure. I think rather than be genderizing our boxes than a man or woman or transgender, I don't know whatever that's going to happen. I want to see a transgender woman becoming the chief minister or the prime minister. I think that space I can see in the Congress party.
Yes.
Because Congress party is a liberal party. I claim and I acclaim that we are a party with so much of openness.
100%.
I want to thank Srimati Sonia Gandhi for supporting the movement of sexual minorities since the year 1997. Got it?
Right.
Why our community members at most across the nation are being part of Congress? Because there's a whole called history, not history. And the history is because of Gandhi, Srimati Indira Gandhi. Because she made us to live in this country. She made us to give so much of privilege to live in this country. She made free transportation, free foods, free housing, free education. I'm talking about the 1970s. You got it? I think if you talk about entire country, people say, like even me joining Congress was not so easy. I think Soumya was part of many other meetings, almost 11 years of conversation why Akka should join Congress. Party. And all my senior leaders from the Hijra community, my feminist friends, my activist friends, they only said, Indira Gandhi worked a lot for community, you should only join for, like Indira Gandhi Ma Paksha.
So Bhavya, to the last question.
So I think it has definitely changed both positively and negatively. In every cabinet, irrespective of which party it is, there will be one woman and she will be the Minister of Women and Child Development. Maybe that berth also a man would have taken, because that will look really, really bad on their party that is given to a woman. According to research, not just on India, across the world, women equally have a chance of winning an election. The problem is going till the election. The hurdles, the barriers they face within the party or in politics or, in this patriarchal society. That needs to change and the dynamics change at the highest level. Yeah.
Thank you, Bhavya. Now let's go to Meenakshi.
I myself is like trying to figure out how can I get into politics. So I suggest for women, you just take a stand. If you want to get into politics, first become financially independent so that you can support yourself. And the second thing is, be very sure what you want to do in politics. Don't always look into electoral politics. That is not the only solution for being in politics. You can do a lot more roles in politics. And the third thing is, be very strong.
Lavanya, to your last question.
Everybody who's in chair of making policies, the policy makers or MLAs, MPs, whoever is in that position, I think they should stay strong with their convictions, and what we see today is the party hopping thing that happens, which makes us question what their convictions are, what they believe in. I would say, I think you should stay strong in whatever you believe. To be a good leader, you need not be a popular leader.
My ideology, like all of you, is belongs to the Congress
Party.
And I think it's like this is one of the most. It's not just it's a movement, and it's also so inclusive, irrespective of which caste, religion, gender you belong to. Taking everybody together, being inclusive, is actually our party. That's Congress Party.
Well, before we wrap, I have something different. So we all are from political background. We know politics. We understand. So I've called a friend of mine who doesn't know politics, has heard our 1 hour of conversation. Would like to welcome you, Rukhsana. So let's see what a non-political person got out of this whole conversation. Sit down. What is your outcome of the whole thing that you have heard here today, and what you think should be the way forward to have more politicians, more women politicians?
I was actually pleasantly enlightened at the entire experience. As a common person, you look at politics, exactly everything that you guys have mentioned is that politics looks like it's an unreachable task for a woman who is at least doesn't have a godfather and who doesn't have dynasty politics as we were talking about. But what I did take away from this entire conversation is that I feel that it is possible, as 4 out of 5 people on this panel do not come from privileged backgrounds, but you guys have made your mark. So as a lay person, I feel like there's a lot of confidence that I can do it, she can do it, anyone can do it with the right focus, determination, and I think guidance is also very important.
I would like to thank each one of you who have come here today. So let's close off with a small token of appreciation to each one who has come here. Thank you so much for coming. It was so nice having you all. Thank you. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ. ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮನ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ರೀಸನ್ ಇದೆ. ಇಂದಿರಾ ಗಾಂಧಿ ಅಭಿಮಾನಿಗಳು ಇಡೀ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಬರೀ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ. ಎಲ್ಲ ನನ್ನ ಮಿತ್ರರು, ಸ್ನೇಹಿತರು ಇಡೀ ಭಾರತ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಇಂದಿರಾ ಗಾಂಧಿ ಅವರ ಅಭಿಮಾನಿಗಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವರು ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ನೋಡಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡಲಿ ಅಂತ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ನಾವು ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಎಲ್ಲ ನನ್ನ ಕನ್ನಡ ಅಭಿಮಾನಿಗಳಿಗೆ ನನ್ನ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.